So the We Build project is essentially about providing opportunities for children of migrant workers to go to school. So what's happening in Bangalore in particular, which is the third largest city in India and has the fastest growth rate, is that where rural urban migration used to be slower, now it's so fast that there isn't enough accommodation, not enough opportunities for education, particularly for children of migrant workers. So our partner organisation, Global Citizens for Sustainable Development, are looking at some of the issues around migrant workers and saying that this is being fuelled by the global economy, so they want a global response. So they invited community-oriented design, Co-Design Studio, a Melbourne-based multidisciplinary design organisation, to come and work with them on developing a concept for a precinct. In the past, Global Citizens have built isolated schools as a means of trying to address some of the educational needs for migrants, but we're finding that it wasn't quite holistic enough. So now they've purchased a 4-hectare site and are looking to develop centres for adult education, for housing, for urban agriculture, for playgrounds and schooling all in one. But as part of their global response, they've invited an Australian design team to come and work with their Indian-based design team as well as the local community in developing a master plan for the site. So ultimately the project aims to provide educational opportunities for the children, but at the same time it's got this dual aim of building relationships between young professionals in Australia and India. I think the more you work cross-culturally, the more you realise that there is no right, there is no wrong, but there are differences. And I think understanding that there's a difference is important, but it's not a point of opposition, it's a point to begin to understand. And I think the more I've worked in Asia, the more I start to see different ways of doing things. And one example that I found very useful when I was learning Vietnamese is in English we have one you and they have at least 10 different ways to say you, depending on whether you're older, younger, male, female. And these different ways of understanding culture, these different ways of understanding communication, I've really brought that broader perspective back into what I'm doing here. Whether it's local work or international work, I think understanding cross-cultural dialogue can have a huge influence. I think Australians are really good collaborators, and I think our global position being in Asia and in the Pacific lends us very well to be global citizens. We're very well travelled, we're very well educated, and I think the notion of global citizenship extends much further with the everyday Australian as it was perhaps in everyday other places. But what I think is really important is as part of a notion of global citizenship, this isn't about Australian ideas, it's not about Asian ideas, it's about us working together. And what we're trying to do with Co-Design Studio is not say what's an Australian response for a project in India, but how can Australians work with Indians? And if 1 in 6 people in the world is Indian, it's important that we work together and that we understand that cross-cultural dialogue. So I think that's what global citizenship means, is working together.